The Wall Street Journal is talking about Pokemon cards, and that could mean another huge boom or the start of a bubble that's ready to pop. Here's what mainstream attention could really mean for collectors like us. Hey, welcome back, guys. I don't want to get too in the weeds on the contents of the actual Wall Street Journal article. That wasn't the purpose of this. Long story short, basically, it pointed out that over the last few years, Pokemon cards have outperformed a lot of other investment options, including some of the better stocks out there, which is true a few times over. The main purpose of this video was more so to ask the question of what does that mean for collectors like us? Usually mainstream attention like this is a signal for what is likely to happen, that being a spike in prices, product getting more scarce than it already is, because this type of attention, it attracts people into the hobby that aren't necessarily, I don't want to say emotionally invested in the hobby, but I guess that might be the best way to say it. As like people like us that have been doing it for years, myself, I started back when I was a kid. So it brings in people that look at it strictly as a way to make money, which I'm not against making money. There's nothing wrong with it. But when that happens, it prices a lot of people out of the hobby, at least temporarily, because you look back at 2020, the height of the pandemic. You had influencers like Logan Paul that were out there drawing in more attention to the hobby with box breaks, things like that. And that was kind of a perfect storm, though. You take that coupled with it was right before the 25th anniversary, and it was during, like I said, the height of the pandemic when people had some excess money to spend, and they would go online and they started buying up product and paying more for cards than really they should have. And then you have other publications like Newsweek and CBC that would talk Pokemon cards, talk value, and it would bring their readers in because they saw an avenue to invest and make money, which, it's hard to blame anybody for that. And this wasn't as highbrow as like the Wall Street Journal, but also the instance of the gentleman on Pawn Stars coming in to try to sell his Charizard collection, and that brought more eyes onto the hobby because it might have shown people who otherwise might not have known that there was value in it. That hey, there might be money to be made here. So. Do I think that the Wall Street Journal article is going to bring about, as dramatic price increases as, during the pandemic? No, because, like I said, the pandemic really, people were shut in for the most part, had excess money to spend. That's not the case this time, but I will say the timing of the Wall Street Journal article now, we're 3.5 months away from the 30th anniversary. So I do think that article could play a part in maybe a little bit longer term price spikes, just because it's like slowly ushering in that 30th anniversary, and and with the Mega Evolution sets coming out, it's just kind of hype is really about as high as I've seen it in a long time. So as a collector, for me, I'm going to focus just on what I like. Some older cards, some of the more modern sets, if I can get my hands on it for a reasonable price. But if things go too crazy, my attention is going to shift to other, eras of the hobby that may not be as affected by a big boom like this. And it may not come, but, the best example I have is in my collection. I've got this guy, which after seeing the Wall Street Journal article, and I don't know if it's related or not, but the timing seems, reasonable. The value of this went up by $500 in the course of like 2 or 3 days. Related or not, I don't know, it seems a little bit too perfect timing-wise for that to happen. So yeah, what do you guys think is going to happen here? I mean, personally, I think that we're going to see a spike, but I don't think that any of that is sustainable. Now, some cards stay on a slow growing trajectory, and that's a little more sustainable. But these spikes in price that we may see, it's going to crash, in my opinion. Do you guys agree with me? Do you think that this is just the new normal? As long as it stays in mainstream, I mean, it could keep people around trying to invest. I don't know. I'm hoping that it's just a temporary deal, because I've said before, it really makes it hard for collectors, because it brings people in that are willing to, and they have the excess funds and they're willing to spend that kind of money. And so, you know, for the people that are more on a budget, you know, don't get me wrong. I really like seeing my cards that I have in my collection be super valuable. I just do. Doesn't mean I'm going to sell them. And you can ask my wife; she'll attest to that. Rarely do I sell cards, and usually when I do, if I can make a little bit of money, that I turn right around and spend it on something else, like other cards, sealed product, things like that, something to open. So yeah, it could be a little bit rough for the next several months to find anything. I know, you know, Prismatic and sets like that we're just starting to come back down from their insane hype when they first came out. This could drive them back up. Hopefully it won't, but I just don't see any avoiding it, and just hopefully hold out, guys. Don't if the prices start to spike, don't panic buy.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm.
Don't panic buy. Hold out and wait. If you're trying to make a little bit of money and they spike, absolutely sell if you want to. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your cards, what your collection or your money, but me personally, I'm not going to panic buy anything. I'm going to wait and just see how it all plays out. That's really all I wanted to talk about today. But, you know, drop your predictions below if you agree with me. If you disagree with something I've said, I'm happy to reply to anything that we get. So you'll just catch us on the next one. We'll be ripping some packs. Thanks.